welcome to the Merengue Mets channel. My name is William Castro, and I am here delighted to share with you all my first episode of this channel that I have just started, which is going to cover all New York Mets baseball as well as other things that are happening in the baseball world and sports world. For all those of you that know me already, you guys know my passion for baseball. You know I'm a diehard New York Mets fan. Grew up in New York City, grew up a New York Mets fan. Actually, when the Mets were at their glory in the mid 80s as a young boy, I got to watch the Mets go through that championship run in 1986. And I'm a huge Mets baseball fan from that moment on. So this channel was created due in part mostly because a lot of friends, a lot of people that I know were saying, hey, why don't you start a Mets channel? I know you're very passionate about baseball, very passionate about international baseball. So here we are, first episode. We're going to go through this journey together. We're going to have fun. We're going to go talk baseball, which is most importantly. So let's get right into it. First of all, why did I name the channel Merengue Mets? A lot of you are wondering why that weird name. Well, actually, it talks about two of the great passions that I love, which is merengue music and also the Mets. As you all know, or as many of you might learn as you get to know me, I am born in the Dominican Republic and I was raised in New York City. So it's in my culture, it's actually in our DNA to like both music and like baseball. So I came up with a name that's a little unique. I don't think anybody has used a combination of both together, and that's why I named the channel Merengue Mets. I'm going to try my best to do content as well in Spanish for those that don't speak the English language, or I might go back and forth depending on the growth of the channel and most of all what you guys want to hear. With that said, let's get right into it. What a great time to start a channel speaking about baseball. The winter meetings. For those of you who are wondering what the winter meetings, what the Major League Baseball winter meetings are about, it's basically a 3-day event that takes place every year. This year started yesterday, December 3rd. It's going to run until the 6th. And this year their winter meetings are in Nashville, Tennessee. So basically what happens in the winter meetings is baseball executives, sports agents, managers, team representatives, media get to come together in one place where a slew of things are discussed. Free agents, trades, teams see what other teams' interests are or what direction teams are going as far as payroll. Maybe they're going to shed some salary or looking to trade some players. So yesterday was the first day. Not much happens on the first day. We did see a trade between the Atlanta Braves and the Seattle Mariners. Nothing of significance in that trade. The only thing of significance is a player, Kelnick, I believe his name is, who was originally a Met prospect that was part of the Cano deal a few years back, happens to come back now and gets traded into the division, into the Braves. Other than that, there's nothing really of major significance that has happened until this point. So we're hoping that this winter meeting we get some news about our New York Mets. But as of now, it's been very quiet. The main thing everyone is asking, what's the word on Shohei Ohtani? What's the word on Yamamoto? What's the word on Juan Soto? So let's tackle those names here real quick. Let's start with the big fish, the big domino, Mr. Shohei Ohtani himself. As per reporting as of this afternoon, Shohei Ohtani is not expected to make a decision during the winter meetings as it first was reported. It was thought to be that he was going to make his selection, during the winter meetings, and now we find out that he's not going to be making his selection, or we don't expect him to be making his selection during the winter meetings. So basically, it's down to only a few teams we're hearing is obviously the Dodgers is the big favorite to get him. We heard a little chatter yesterday about the Toronto Blue Jays. And today we're also hearing that the Atlanta Braves might be in the fold. Also, you cannot discount San Francisco since they have huge uh, flexibility when it comes to salary. They have a lot of money to spend. They just haven't been able to get someone to take their money. If you guys have been paying attention the last few off seasons, they struck out last year. Well, they didn't strike out, but they offered Carlos Correa a huge contract due to the medicals. They were able to back out of that contract, but they also were very big favorites in the Aaron Judge sweepstakes. As you guys know, they actually offered Aaron Judge a bigger contract than what the Yankees offered, but he decided to and go back to the Yankees and stay in New York. So they cannot discount the San Francisco Giants. As to this point, I believe both New York Met teams are out on Ohtani. Obviously, the market for him is a very unique market because of what he does, his pitches, and he hits as well. Latest reports is they're looking anywhere between 500 and 600 million dollars for Shohei Ohtani, possibly anywhere in the realm between 8 to 10 years, which is a huge commitment for teams. There's not that many teams that could afford Shohei. So we gotta wait for Shohei. I think until he doesn't sign, I don't think it's gonna be a lot of movement. Honestly, same thing goes for Yamamoto, the pitcher from Japan. Many teams are also interested in him, but he is also waiting till after the winter meetings to make his decision on what team he is going to select. If you guys know, there's a few teams, actually, a bunch of teams that are really hot after Yamamoto. Number one, with our New York Mets, their Mets are believed to be making the highest bid for Yamamoto. Also, you have the Dodgers involved, you have the San Francisco Giants, the New York Yankees. Basically, a lot of teams are interested in Yamamoto. Remember, Yamamoto, 3 times winner of the equivalent of the Cy Young Award, and he's only 25 years old. So you're getting a pitcher that's in his prime and has a lot of potential here in the big leagues. So Yamamoto is going to be very interesting to see what happens with him. The Mets and a lot of teams would love to have Yamamoto, but the cost for him is expected now to be anywhere between 250 to $300 million for possibly an 8 to 9 year deal, including a posting fee. So remember, the team that signs him, a percentage of that contract also goes to the MPB team which he belongs to. So let's see what happens with Yamamoto. Juan Soto. Juan Soto has been a name that's been very hot recently, or the last, I want to say, last 2 to 3 weeks. At the moment, uh, many teams are interested in Juan Soto, primarily the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees have the hots for him. They're they really could use Juan Soto in that outfield, but the asking price that the San Diego Padres are asking for has sort of stopped the progression of the trade with the Yankees. The last time the Yankees were asking for, I believe, 5 to 6 prospects, mostly pitching. Not that many teams could trade for Soto for a couple of factors. Number one is they don't have the right package necessary in order to get a trade done. Remember, San Diego wants a package that's mostly pitchers with controllable years. In other words, pitchers that are not going to become free agents, or pitchers that are not going to be too expensive as well. They want young, controllable pitching talent is what they're looking for. Yankees have that. Whether or not they're going to be willing to part with it is something we will have to see. Sure, they're going to go back and forth, and during these winter meetings is where they sort of get a feel for what the Padres hear for Soto as far as other teams. And usually these big deals sometimes don't happen exactly in the winter meetings. They happen a little bit after, once their winter meetings are concluded, is when those type of trades. I think Juan Soto doesn't get dealt this week. I think he will get dealt perhaps sometime before Christmas. Um, and it's going to be interesting. We also heard the Toronto Blue Jays are interested in him. They have the pitching to get him, and a couple of other teams. I don't see the New York Mets getting involved. As you all know, David Stearns and Steve Cohen do not want to part with the farm system that they just started rebuilding. They don't want to lose momentum in building this farm system for a player that they could possibly get via free agency come next offseason in 2024 after that year. So the Mets are not going into the Juan Soto sweepstakes, in case you were wondering. I don't see. Yeah, of course they could use him. There's a fit for him in the outfield. Who wouldn't want to have Juan Soto? But not at the expense of trading a farm system which the Mets have just started to rebuild. They don't want to go back to square one and, start all over. So I don't see Soto coming here at all. As per the Mets, David Stearns spoke with the media today. David Stearns he's not going to give you much as far as insight. He's just going to, I see him as a very intellectual person, very smart general manager. He's not going to give you a direct answer. He's not going to give the media the meat and potatoes and the stuff that we want to hear. He sort of, I believe, sometimes dances around questions. Like today, he was asked whether the Mets are going to make any additions as far as the DH, and he replied something along the lines of, "Oh, we'll keep those possibilities there if the moment arises, or if we decide we want to go that route. It's something that we're not going to rule out. He's not going to tell you yes or no. Obviously, they're always looking, they're always listening for bats. They need a bat. The Mets need an outfielder, obviously, as well. There's been interest also in Lee from the Korean League. He will be posted later this week. I think he's going to be posted tomorrow. He, unlike Yamamoto, has a 30-day window to sign, so it's less amount of time. Yamamoto has 45 days, could take you all the way to early January before he needs to have a contract signed. If he does not have a contract signed by that time, he will need to be going back to the MPB. As per Lee, the outfielder, he has 30 days from the posting date. So I believe he will be posted sometime early this week, if not tomorrow, the day after. So it's going to be very interesting. They also asked David Stearns about third base. He says that third base right now, it's going to be filled internally by the Mets, which most likely means it could be a platoon of players between Brett Beatty, Ronnie Mauricio, or another player. So obviously, we're not going to see the Mets go for like a Chapman or any other third base via trade. I don't expect that. I do see them being aggressive on the pitching market. Obviously, they need starting pitching. They also need relievers. And there could always be another bat to help in the outfield. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's see what happens later this week. Hopefully, we get some news. Until now, thank you guys for tuning in on our first episode. Please remember to subscribe and hit the like button so you could get any updates. And we're also planning on going live very soon. We will go live as soon as we get any news. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. This is Merengue Mets. Have a good night. Take care.